Hello and welcome to this tutorial video for the Space Combat Kit for Unity, where I'll be showing you how to set up a missile weapon in your game. Now I've got an empty scene here and I'd like to create a missile weapon from scratch. Now we've got the this entry in the menu here, Space Combat Kit, which you'll find a lot of functions for creating different things in future. At the moment I've just added create missile weapon, and when you click on that you'll see this wizard window open up where you can set these settings here to create a new missile weapon. So let's do that. For our 3D model, what we're going to do is just grab the missile mesh. So we want it to look like there's a missile ready to go. That's going to be our missile weapon mesh. Then we'll select the missile module type. Click on the dot here and you'll see missile weapon. For the menu sprite, we'll select our missile icon here. And for the missile prefab, we'll go to the project, type missile in the search bar and drag our missile prefab in there. And then click create. So you'll see that it's created a new missile weapon called new missile weapon. In the hierarchy of it, you'll see it's got the root game object where all the scripts are. And then we've got the model and we've got the spawn point where the missiles will be launched from. So yeah, this is for a missile weapon, not the missile itself. That will be a separate tutorial video. But yeah, we've got this new missile weapon set up here. So let's take a look at the components and what has been added. So the first component that's been added is the module component. You can read up on this in the overview of a vehicle tutorial video. Yeah, it's set the label, description, the menu sprite, the module type, which came from our settings on the wizard window, and then you've got all these events for when the module is mounted, unmounted, module related stuff. Let's look at the second one. The missile weapon basically identifies this as a missile weapon. It's composed of these components here: a target locker, a triggerable, a repeater, and a projectile launcher, which you can see underneath here. And we'll take a look at what they do. Our target locker is a component that locks onto a target. So this is what you will see working when you aim your ship at a target and it locks on. It's got a locking time, a locking angle, a locking range, and you've got the you can set the target manually or you can do it in code. And then we've got locking enabled here, which allows you to prevent the target locker from relocking, which the missile itself also has a target locker, and we will want to disable that because we do not want the missile to lock onto a new target once it's been launched. So underneath here we've got these events for when it starts locking, when it starts being locked, and when it loses a lock, basically. Let's have a look at our next component, and this is the triggerable component, which was covered in the weapons triggerables tutorial video. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it basically allows you to create a module where you can start triggering it, you can stop triggering it, and trigger it once, and set the trigger level. So you'll see in these events it's added the repeater, start triggering, repeater, stop triggering, and repeater, trigger once. And that was added automatically by the wizard. And let's go and have a look at what this repeater is all about. So this repeater component basically allows you to create different kinds of fire for your weapons. You've got single burst, automatic, and you've also got the ability to, in the burst fire, to repeat burst. So what it basically means is that if you hold down the trigger, it will fire bursts at this burst interval, where the burst size is the amount that you've got here, and the burst and the interval between bullets in your burst is this interval at the top here. So you'll see at the bottom here we've got the on action event, and you'll notice this is a bit of a flexible generic sort of component that you can use in a lot of different ways. When the action occurs, we want to launch a projectile. So this is whenever something happens, we're going to launch a projectile with this event here. So let's take a look at the projectile launcher, which is a little bit simpler than it used to be because a lot of the functionality was moved to the repeater. Which makes things a lot more flexible in terms of how you want to hook things up in the editor. And so we've got the settings here. We've got the spawn point, which was set by the wizard to the new game object here, which represents where the missile will be spawned. We've got the projectile prefab here, which is our missile that we added on the wizard window settings. And then we've got, we're not using a pool manager here, and then we've got the launch, add launcher velocity to projectile, which basically means that it's going to add the ship's speed to the missile when the missile is launched. And then we've got the event here for when the projectile is launched. And you can do whatever you want in this Unity event. You can add a function here to make something happen, an effect, whatever you like. So let's test this real quick. We'll add a new game object, call it input, just add a custom input generic component. Add an input here, and when we press our mouse button 0, our left mouse button, when we press it down, we'll call trigger will start triggering, and when we release it, we'll call triggerable stop triggering. So let's take a look at what it looks like in action. You'll see we launch a missile, we can launch it fast, and then if you want to adjust those settings in repeater, you'd probably want much bigger interval for missiles, and probably maybe even put it single so that you have to release the button to fire it again. So that pretty much covers it for the creation of a missile weapon. You'll see in this create a menu, there's going to be a lot of new stuff for missile weapon, missiles, projectile guns, projectiles, beam weapons, and of course vehicles, spaceships, and stuff like that. And also I've got this help here, so if you want to visit the tutorial videos or the forum, you can do that here. So if you click tutorial videos, it'll open up all the videos I've got here for you to learn all about the Space Combat Kit. So that wraps up this tutorial video. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.